basis, yes, Jim.
Representative Schuring, I think that there were some discussions going on with the Senate about trying to come up with some sort of unified approach. You couldn't reach a conclusion there?
Well, we have had ongoing dialogue with the Senate and plan on continuing that. They are going to take a different approach, but I have spoken with Senator Burke and Senator Butler, who will be leading the charge in the Senate, and we plan on talking regularly, as much as on a weekly basis, if not more. As the Speaker said, at the end of the day, we hope to have an opportunity where we can share what we've learned through this process here in the House and what they've learned through their process and come together on something.
Representative, do you expect the final result to be some type of a definitive conclusion on whether we should or should not proceed with medical marijuana?
I think that would be premature, and Jim, as I said earlier, I do not come to this with any predisposition. I think that's important. If I started to suggest what the outcome might be, I think it would be a violation of the process. And again, I'm going to be an open and objective facilitator of the process so everybody can speak their piece and their voices can be heard. And through that process, there very well could be a common ground that we can agree upon. But it's too early to say what that might be and if that will happen.
Will this be a report or a bill that comes out of this at the end?
Don't know yet. We have to start the process and listen. Again, we've got a diverse group of people, and I would submit to you with divergent ideas. And until we start talking, by the way, I don't think we've ever talked before about this issue. So now is the time for us to have a clearinghouse of conversations and ideas, not just from these task force members, but from the community as a whole, the state of Ohio. So that we might hear something we've never heard before. So I'm not going to get into predicting what the outcome will be at this point in time. Yes,
Are all these meetings going to be held at the State House? And then as a follow-up, are you going to be inviting people to come speak, or is it an open invitation for people to come speak?
They'll all be at the State House, and all the task force members will have an opportunity to invite people. I don't want to get too much into a regimen where we're inviting people, and it might suggest that we're taking one side or the other. So this is going to be an open process. I'll keep on repeating that. I think that's important. Yes, sir.
With the responsible Ohio vote in mind, I mean, what was it that made you think that this is something that voters might be interested in?
Well, let me just say that we watched that issue very closely, but don't forget that as it relates to medicinal marijuana, the legislature has been talking about this for quite some time. We have members of the General Assembly, former Representative Bob Hagan, for one, and others from my side of the aisle, the Republican side, Lynn Waxman, who have looked at this as well. So we've hit a point of critical mass. I think that the Speaker, and again I commend his leadership, he said during the campaign that we were adamantly against recreational marijuana, but he would have a conversation regarding medical marijuana, and that's why we're here today.
Did you give the panel any kind of parameters, like you need to study this issue as it relates to certain medical conditions only, or no dispensaries or anything like that? Did you set any parameters on what you may want to see, what you don't want to see?
I can just tell you, I am fearful of coming in with silos of conversation that might impede the ability to have an open and free discussion about how this could go. Again, we might hear testimony from people that we never have heard from before, and thoughts that need to be vetted and considered. And that's why we're not going to get into any regimented framework.
Have you spoken with officials in other states that have legal medical, or do you plan to invite them to address your task force?
Certainly, I would expect that we will have folks from other parts of the United States who will come in and express their opinion.
And keep in mind, to your question, I mean, that's why we have medical experts part of the panel. It's to start to bring that conversation out, to understand, to collect this data and have more ears during the citizen-led kind of task force to be able to understand all these issues before. We need to collect some more information, and I think that's important.
Speaker, typically these type of issues are handled by standing committees. Why did you feel the need to go this route for medical marijuana?
Well, because I think that what's important is to have in order to do this and do it the right way, I think we need to be able to draw in more outside organizations such as the ones that you see behind us. And so I wanted to be able to put this task force together. Additionally, I wanted to be able to put a timeline on it so that we can actually do some kind of action in the future, hopefully, based on what we've learned from the organizations and interest groups that are all together here to see what we can do to put the best foot forward for the state of Ohio.
Speaker, you emphasized that this wasn't a stall tactic. Are you concerned that that might be a claim that is made?
Well, I always am concerned. Jimmy and myself had a very good conversation, probably I don't know, 2 to 3 months ago now, maybe, to have a conversation about, responsible Ohio and his end of it and my end of it, what my viewpoints were, and then it quickly came to a head and say, look, I think we need to have a longer conversation about it, but I don't want it to seem like we're doing something to slow the process. Because I understand that there are other groups that are out there currently looking to do ballot initiatives right now. And I would invite those groups to, hey, let's take a time out. There's no problem in participating with this group and this task force, and understand that you have a willing partner here to listen to you. And so I'm inviting those groups, again, here today to participate with us in this, and with the understanding, and that's why I set a deadline with Representative Schuring. I said this cannot last through the summer. Let's get something that we can start getting some concrete conversation and discussion.
As an extension of that, this is